The face-to-face with the developers was just mailed to every player in the whole entire game. There are some very interesting things in here, like Thutmose's buff has been revealed, a bunch of things about Season of Conquest changes, and one of them being really, really insane, where they would limit the number of players who can register. There are also a bunch of things in Ark of Osiris, and today I'll be going over it all. If you are interested in this, then you should check out this video, and even if you aren't, I may give you some valuable insights of things coming to the game very soon. So we know that Thutmose was confirmed to be getting a buff within like the next 2 or 3 months, and we have his buff revealed now. So in the face-to-face with the developers, it has been revealed that Thutmose's buff will not be that insane. So the question was, I wish to learn more about the balance adjustments on some of Thutmose III's skills. Mentioned in the previous commander adjustments announcement, will the museum buff be affected? We are very sorry for not explaining the adjustments clearly in the announcement and for the inconvenience caused. Thutmose III's buffs in the museum will not be effective, so that's really, really good. If you have Thutmose's relic, it will not be affected, and you can still certainly be using it with Thutmose. The balance adjustments are targeted for Thutmose's skill, Might of the Thieves. This is his expertise. The details are as followed. So before the buff, which is right now, after using an active skill, troops deal 30% more normal attack for 3 seconds. This skill triggers once every 8 seconds. So this is just his current skill on his expertise. Nothing too crazy, not too bad though. Once they buff him though, now archer units take 5% less damage from infantry, and after using an active skill gain 30% more normal attack for 3 seconds. This skill triggers once every 8 seconds. That's all they're changing. I don't know why they even bothered to mention they're changing this. It literally changes barely nothing. The only thing that they did change was they removed him from the really early daily special offers for like early kingdoms. And then I'm pretty sure they've taken him out of the gold chest now, unless he's still in there. They were saying he's going to go to like season 3, but clearly he isn't. He's actually completely removed from the daily special offer. So clearly he's not going to season 3 because that's not a big enough buff to make him a season 3 commander. Like going from 30% normal attack to 30% plus 5% damage to infantry is not that crazy. And for the most part, he's still going to stay as a fairly not so good commander, even after he does receive this buff. Second question, as Season of Conquest commanders are made available in Season 3, Season of Conquest governors can migrate to Season 3 directly. This is very unfair to local governors, and I agree with this. I think that's an issue that a lot of people were bringing up. This issue has come to our attention. The difference between immigrant governors and local governors has indeed become apparent. After Season of Conquest commanders are made available in Season 3 to ensure a good gaming experience for local governors and meet the cross-season immigration needs for Season of Conquest governors, we are considering adjusting the cross-season immigration limit for Season 2 and Season 3. The governor quota will be increased from 30 to 50 for Season 2, and will be changed from 30 to 0 for Season 3. This doesn't solve the issue really at all. The only thing they changed was they reduced the amount of people that could migrate in total to Season 3 and 2 by 10. The thing is, someone who has Season of Conquest commanders could really just migrate straight into a Season 2 kingdom, do the KvK there, and keep their commanders till the next KvK. This doesn't really make sense in my opinion, and it doesn't really change much, like having 30 people migrate into a KvK 3 instead of 30 people migrate into a KvK 2 and then go to KvK 3 doesn't make a difference, and I don't think that really matters. The adjustments on the usability of Season 3 commanders and the availability of Season Conquest commanders are in line with the recent matchmaking adjustments of kingdoms that enter the Season of Conquest for the first time, and Season of Conquest immigration adjustments. This is to give kingdoms and governors sufficient time to develop before entering SOC. I like this. This I do like. I think giving the people enough time to develop commanders and equipment is really good, and help them go through the transition smoothly. We will constantly pay attention to the issue of game ecology, I don't know how you say that, in the future. Please feel free to share your opinion with us. That's I like the second paragraph. This is very good. First paragraph doesn't really make much sense as to how this will really affect Season 3, because people could just migrate to Season 2. Anyways, moving on. The attributes of leadership equipment are too weak and do not provide enough advantages for a single unit type. First of all, straight up just saying that's wrong. Card on the top of why I think it's wrong, because I made a video of how overpowered leadership gear actually is, and it's certainly not weak. But moving on. In order to enrich the governor's gaming experience, we'd like to see governors develop more specialized equipment for specific unit types, rather than everyone using universal equipment that affects all unit types. So they're basically saying they don't want people to just use leadership gear and that be the only gear set. Leadership equipment is designed to complement the bonuses that leadership commanders provide to mixed units. It is not designed to be used with every commander or unit types as a catch-all equipment type. So they're saying it's not really supposed to be used as like a one-stop shop for every troop type, and I think that makes sense. That was definitely not the purpose of it. There are still a lot of uses for it, and I definitely think that it's going to shake the equipment meta enough where even if you are using one troop, it's very, very powerful still. KvK battles are unbalanced due to significant difference in the number of active governors among kingdoms. Thank you for your feedback, and please rest assured that this is an issue that has already come to our notice. A quick thing with this question, though, I'm not sure how it's really going to work. I think they're saying that there's too many people in some kingdoms, possibly. As time passes, the difference in the number of active governors among kingdoms in the game has widened. Some kingdoms have populations that exceed normal values. For example, 1093, they have like 1,000 active players, resulting in a series of problems such as unbalanced kingdom power in KvK battles and difficulty in matching opponents for kingdoms with very high populations. That makes sense, like 1254 had a lot of issues with matchmaking. Meanwhile, some kingdoms have a severe shortage of active players, which is certainly true. I've seen a lot of dead kingdoms. I'm sure if you go into SOC, click any kingdom, there's a very high chance they are a dead or not so active kingdom. This makes it difficult for management to gather sufficient active governors for gameplays like KvK. We are actively exploring targeted solutions for this issue in the future. We will implement a series of adjustments such as setting a limit to the number of registrants for a single kingdom in KvK. That's really, really bad. Just straight off the bat, that's really bad. That's basically saying they're going to kill Imperium kingdoms. Doing that will basically kill any kingdom that's Imperium. Because we know that power for an Imperium kingdom is calculated by the top 300 players. It's not necessarily calculated by how many players are in the kingdom. So after 300, let's say the top 300 in Imperium are all 100 million power, you could migrate in infinite 70 million power accounts. Infinite. But the thing is, they're saying that they're going to put a limit to that. So how's that going to work? I really don't know. And it's kind of horrible to think what's going to happen to major Imperium kingdoms once this change does come into effect. Because they said they will be adding it. There's no like, we may not, possibly. It's just, yeah, it's going to be there. So that's just straight up crazy news for Imperium kingdoms right there. So they're going to limit the number of registrants for a single kingdom and put scarcely populated kingdoms on the same server. I think that's an interesting idea. We welcome your opinion regarding this issue and will take into account your suggestions in formulating the final adjustments. I'm hoping when they say putting scarcely populated kingdoms in the same server, they're not saying like a kingdom with less players gets forced to merge with another kingdom. I hope they're saying as in same server, as in same KvK. I think that makes more sense than just, all right, you've got 20 players that are very, very active. You've got 20 players that are very, very active. You guys are now in the same kingdom. Here you go. Figure it out. Who's going to be king? Following the launch of Ark of Osiris, Raging Sands, and the time announcement of Osiris League new season, many of you have approached us with questions regarding the two events. We've summarized and answered your questions below. There are too few Pioneer slots in Raging Sands. I'm unable to register for it. They've already kind of solved this. Thank you for your feedback. Many of you have registered for the Ark of Osiris Raging Sands once it was launched. And we have decided to open more registration slots. You can actually see this in-game. There are 2,000 registration slots now instead of like the 200 or 300 was before. I think that's really, really good. I'm hoping to actually get into the Ark and possibly play it this weekend. They opened the more registration slots because of how like overwhelming the response was. However, considering this is a Pioneer event, potential issues such as technical faults and design defects may arise. So they're basically saying they didn't really want to do this. They didn't want to have too many people on their first run. So they have no choice to really limitate the participants for that first run. To prevent issues from causing a large-scale negative impact, we have no choice but to limit the participants. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience caused. So they're going to basically say, we're not going to be opening it up completely yet. You basically will have to wait. I'm happy they upped the limit from 300 to 2,000. That's actually a very, very big limit. It's not like they gave 200 extra slots. They gave 2,000. So that's very good, and I think that's going to get a lot of kingdoms at least have one alliance in the Ark. Doesn't mean that every kingdom will have one alliance because there are like 3,000 and some kingdoms may get double ups. So we don't know how it's going to go, but I'm hoping that our kingdom does get an alliance inside of that Ark. Will the new rules and gameplay in Ark of Osiris Raging Sand take effect in the new season of Osiris League? I don't think it will, just straight off the bat before I read this, because it's kind of a very, very new thing. But the answer Lilith said, for all governors to experience more diverse and tactical game modes, all battles in this season will feature the Raging Sands mode. Okay, I was actually very, very wrong there. So every single battle in the Osiris League will use the new Ark of Osiris game mode that they just said may have technical issues. Oh well, that's not the smartest. The formation and armament buffs on the battlefield in Ark of Osiris practice match will be disabled temporarily to help governors be better prepared and develop strategies in advance for the battles. I presume that they will actually disable armaments for Osiris League purely because they are still a very, very new thing and it may be unbalanced if some people have like really, really good armaments. This is also to make sure the practice matches reflect the battlefield in Osiris League. So they are going to basically disable it because, as you can see in the next question, armament and formation buffs will be temporarily disabled in the season of Osiris League. So they won't be doing that at all, and I think that's a bit interesting. When will the Osiris League start? The new Osiris League will start at the end of May. That's a very, very simple answer. Basically, this is just them saying this has been another face-to-face with the developers, questions and stuff, and then thank you for supporting Rise of Kingdoms. So the usual. Now, if this video brought you some value, I do ask, please subscribe to the channel. It takes me hours to make, and I'm going for 1,000 subscribers by June 27th, which is when I start my restart account using only siege units. It's going to be an insane time, and I will be streaming my KvK Fighting 1093. If you're interested in all of this, it's certainly worth subscribing. Now, thank you for watching, and I hope I see you in the next one.